All right. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time it is that you are watching this. Those of you that are here live with us, and then some will be catching it on Facebook and some will catch it later. It's time to tell the truth. And that's what it's all about. We are telling the truth about various different topics, maybe some truths that you yourself don't already know. But we want to make sure that you have this powerful information. Who am I? My name is Dr. Rosalind Shaw Bell. Everybody calls me Dr. Roz. I am the CEO of Dream to Life, productions, ministry, complex, all of that. I'm a wife, a musician, and done a number of things in the past. But today, my main focus is that I'm a certified wellness coach. Yes, I'm not a medical doctor, but I do have two certifications. One is as a certified economopreneur and lifestyle consultant. And the other is that I'm a certified wellness coach with a program that we call Flat Belly Lifestyle 2.0. Now, since I'm not a medical doctor, I always like to lean on the expertise of those who are. So before we get started, let's check this out.
2/3 of adults are now overweight or obese, and we have an epidemic cascade of debilitating disease that's overcoming the country. There's no way we can sustain the current style of care with the epidemic that we're creating with our diagnosis. The diabetes, the arthritis, the heart disease, the dementia, the obesity, the cancers are affecting about 70% of deaths. All the data is that those 70% of deaths and morbidity are largely lifestyle related. Most kids by age 10 in the US already have fatty streaks in their arteries, the first stage of atherosclerosis leading to heart attacks, strokes.
Here in American medicine, we operate from the disease model. We are in the business of treating sick people. We are not in the business of trying to prevent people from becoming sick.
When you look at chronic disease risk, all the things that we walk around worrying about, actually dietary choices trump smoking when it comes to those risks.
If I could deliver one message to the researchers who are looking for the cause of diabetes and the cause of clogged arteries and the cause of high blood pressure and the cause of obesity, I would tell them the answer is in 3 words. It's the food. It's what Americans are eating.
That's amazing. He said the answer to the cause of all these things, it's the food. 3 words. So guess what? If you don't get anything else out of what we're going to share today, I want you to get that right there. It's the food. So today we're talking about the food that you're eating may be causing you pain. See, I believe that there's so many people that are in pain. Pain is like the number one thing that's going on, and we sometimes accept it as a norm because we can't get any resolution. We can't get away from it. We're in pain. Maybe you had an accident. Maybe you are going through a crisis in some area of your body and you're in pain. Maybe you have a back pain, or maybe your heart is hurting. You know, pain is pain. Pain will make you cry out. But I think that oftentimes we don't understand the source of the pain. And many times that pain is coming from inflammation. See, inflammation is necessary. Now that sounds funny, doesn't it? But it is. It's a necessary response to pathogens. See, pathogens are agents that cause disease in their host, like bacteria, like viruses, like fungi, like parasites and prions, which are the proteins that have gone wrong or misfolded, affecting other proteins in the brain. Now, the thing about inflammation, if the immune system doesn't neutralize the cause of the inflammation, then disease occurs. Some diseases that are associated with inflammation include autoimmune diseases. Some of you may know someone who is dealing with an autoimmune disease like rheumatoid arthritis. They've got pain in their knuckles, in their fingers, or maybe lupus, and they've been living with that lupus and living with the pain. And they keep going to work with the pain, psoriasis, and even all kinds of things that deal with the shoulders and the back. You've got to recognize it does not have to be the case that you live with it. There's some other diseases that are associated with inflammation. A lot of times it's cardiovascular disease. Even when you're dealing with blood pressure, and you're dealing with heart disease, too many people are living with pain. gastrointestinal diseases like Crohn's and ulcerative colitis, and even IBS and inflammatory bowel diseases. These are pains that people are dealing with in their body. Lung diseases like COPD. We see commercials on TV, and we see the medication that they offer as a not even a solution, but just to treat it. But the food you're eating may be causing the pain. What about mental illness, such as depression and anxiety? Do you know that there are certain foods that you can eat that cause you to be even more depressed, more anxious? And then diabetes, type 2 diabetes. It's the food. You heard him, he just said it. It's the food. It's 3 words. What about neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease? And even some cancers are causing problems in our body just because of our diet. We just recently did a whole 2 sessions on cancer, how to starve the cells, and sometimes we're feeding the cells, and how to even prevent it without the use of chemo, radiation, or surgery. So today we want to focus on the food you're eating that may be causing your pain. What about gout? Oh my God. I heard that that's so painful. And I have to say I heard because I've never experienced it, but I've known people that have. So when the body, God made this wonderful body of ours, when the body senses foreign substances called antigens, the immune system, the job of the immune system, and I've seen people talk about it, there's no need to detox the body because of what the body's supposed to do. And you're right, we're wonderfully made. But oftentimes, because of what we've done, the damage we've done to our body, we're not operating at its optimum performance because the immune system works to recognize the antigens and get rid of them.
Our bodies are under attack daily. Pathogens hijack healthy cells, treating them as a hotbed to multiply and to grow further in our body. Thanks to our immune system, we're able to fend off these attacks all the time. There are 2 types of immune defense that protect us from these sneaky invaders. The innate system acts as the first responder to eliminate any invaders. The adaptive system requires some form of training, serving as a second line of defense against specific invaders. Now, let's take a look at some of the main forces in our body's defense unit. In the innate system, natural killer cells identify and eliminate infected and cancerous cells, whereas dendritic cells gobble up pathogens, break them into pieces, and send signals to the second line of defense to initiate a more precise and targeted response. Macrophage engulfs foreign bodies and repairs damaged tissues. In the adaptive system, cytotoxic T cells eliminate mutated or infected cells. Helper T cells give commands to B cells to secrete antibodies and inactivate or remove any threats. As our immunity declines with age, it affects their ability to fight against foreign invaders as well as cancerous cells. Store your immune cells today.
So when we understand this, we get the picture now that our immune system is supposed to fight for us. The way our body is designed, we should be rid of pain, we should be rid of disease, but because of the damage that we've done, and we can't blame anybody, we can blame a couple of things. We can blame the lack of knowledge because we're destroyed for that lack of knowledge. You know, they used to say, what you don't know don't hurt you. No, that's not true. What you don't know is absolutely hurting you. It's causing you to live with that pain. So how do you get rid of it?
Doctors has a new warning tonight about the prescription painkillers in your medicine cabinet. ABC's Dr. Richard Besser now with more on all of this for us and what it means.
It's the danger sitting right there in your medicine cabinet. Drug overdoses, largely fueled by the wild rise of prescription painkillers, are now killing more Americans per year than car accidents on our highways. Accidental overdoses from prescription painkillers have quadrupled in just a decade. One reason? Doctors are prescribing more and more Percocet, Vicodin, OxyContin, and we can't seem to stop taking it. In fact, almost all of abused pain meds start as legitimate prescriptions for real pain. then a growing number of addicts buy leftover pills or just take them from their friends' medicine cabinets. Today's medical group is the latest calling for tougher rules, and some are coming. Expect to see fewer pills per prescription, a mandatory visit to the doctor to get a renewal, and no more prescriptions over the phone. You know, this is a problem because we never throw pills away. So here's what you do. Go to your medicine cabinet and get rid of those pain medicines or sleeping pills that you no longer use. But you can't just throw them in the trash or flush them down the toilet. What you want to do, check with your police department. They may have a drop box, or get a Ziploc bag and put the pills in there, add some water, some coffee grounds or kitty litter, shake it up, and you can throw that away and you'll know that no one's going to get to it.
And at least this is a beginning of addressing the problem.
It's only part of it, but it can help.
Okay, thank you so much, Rich.
So we've got to accept the fact that this is a problem. I mean, many of us, we reach and grab pain medicine quickly when we're in pain. You know, our number one go-to oftentimes is Tylenol or aspirin. Some of us are on a daily aspirin regimen. But here's the thing about it. Long-term use. See, I'm not talking about you just take it every now and then, but there are people that do it on a daily basis because they're in pain all the time. Long-term use of over-the-counter pain relievers can cause serious, serious health issues. I mean, there are people right now, some of you may be listening to what I'm talking about, that you're dealing with liver damage or kidney damage or heart problems, maybe stomach problems or bleeding or blood clotting, even sleepiness because of overuse and long use of pain medicine. Even breast milk. If you're breastfeeding and you're taking codeine, your breast milk will have what? Codeine in it. Doesn't that make sense? And then that puts the baby at risk. So many things are leading us down the wrong path. So then how does inflammation help us? Well, inflammation is necessary to a certain degree, because it's actually the check engine light that shows up before the disease process starts. See, when the inflammation happens, that's when we need to do something about it.
For inflammation, there's an irritation. The irritation is the sugar. The irritation is the salt. The irritation is the processed foods. Okay? Whatever the irritation is, okay, the irritation could be an injury, it could be a blunt or trauma, okay, but no matter what it is, there's an initial irritation. The irritation is where you need to go back to change your habit, okay? Whatever the irritation is, that's what caused the inflammation, all right? So the inflammation now, as a result of the irritation, when it becomes chronic, okay, so let's say, for instance, if 99% of the time you're eating healthy, and once a year you decide to have some birthday cake that's vegan and maybe even it's alkaline and it has a lot of sugar in it, but you have some birthday cake. All right, so if you have that, you're gonna have maybe an irritation because you eat healthy, okay? And you may feel a little woozy or whatever it may be, but if you eat that and then don't eat it again for another year, it's not gonna become chronic. It's only one time. Okay, so that's not going to form disease. But what happens is most people don't do that one time. Most people do it in moderation. Moderation for most people is consistency. It's chronic. Okay, and when you do something chronically, you're inflamed chronically. Chronic inflammation will lead to tissue dysfunction. All right, when the tissues are constantly being inflamed, it's going to lead to that tissue becoming dysfunctional. Because here's the thing, when the inflammation is there, it's cutting off the blood supply to that tissue. All right? The longer and longer that persists chronically, this is when you start to see tissue dysfunction now becomes tissue degeneration. Okay, so it's hugely important to understand this is why you have to get involved in the process early. When you see that initial check engine light, which is inflammation, okay? With the kidneys, it will be that pain in the back, okay? You also notice that you have this sharp, dull pain in the back, okay? That was the irritation that you needed to know. That was the irritation and the inflammation. When you see that stage, that's when you say, I need to change my habits, all right? The inflammation is a check engine light that says, I need to stop what I'm doing. You know how the song back in the day goes, stop what you're doing because you're about to ruin. Okay, so that's exactly what's about to happen. Okay, so now that we kind of have an understanding of why it's so important to look at inflammation as a check engine light, and why we need to actually do something when we see the inflammation, not when we actually get the diagnosis.
Now, if we all would do that and not wait for the diagnosis, because I talk to people all the time and they'll saying, well, my doctor didn't say that, my doctor didn't see anything, and I've been going to the doctor, I've been going to have checks on a monthly, on a yearly, I do my annual check. Well, most doctors are waiting to actually see it manifest in the tissue and the organs. When you've already been experiencing, how many of you have been to the doctor and you tell the doctor, but doc, something's wrong? Well, see, that's the check engine light. It lets us know that pain that you're feeling in the back, in the neck, in the stomach, in the brain. Food does cause inflammation.
Inflammation is a natural part of the body's immune response and serves an important role in healing injuries and fighting off foreign invaders, such as chemicals and microorganisms. Sometimes it can persist for weeks, months, or years, even when no threat is present. This is known as chronic inflammation. Unfortunately, chronic inflammation has been linked to some of the world's most deadly diseases, including heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and Alzheimer's disease. With that said, scientists have learned that our diet and the foods that we put into our body plays a major role in increased inflammation over time. In fact, several of the common foods that we eat on a daily basis are culprits that cause increased levels of inflammation in the body. And that is exactly what we are going to talk about in this video. Be sure to watch until the end because there's one food that I think will surprise you. So if you're ready, let's get into it. Just a quick reminder, we are not doctors. This video is for informational purposes only. But of course, the first food that we need to talk about is sugar. You probably know that eating too much sugar is not a good thing because it can cause cavities and diabetes. You should know that sugar is also linked to increased levels of inflammation in the body as well. In fact, studies found that a high sugar intake contributes to many of the chronic diseases in public health that affect a large portion of the population. That is because when you regularly consume a high sugar diet, your body may start responding normally to the spikes in blood sugar. This results in insulin resistance, which activates inflammatory pathways. So whether you're eating candy all day or loading up on carbs, the glucose from these foods is converted into fatty acids by the liver. High concentrations of these fatty acids also trigger inflammatory responses in the body. Another culprit known for increasing inflammation is vegetable oil. People tend to think that vegetable oil is a healthy alternative to butter. With that said, the fats in vegetable oil are mostly unsaturated, so this is partially true. But vegetable oil isn't exactly healthy. Studies have shown that the unsaturated fats in vegetable oil tend to oxidize when people eat them. When oxidized, they become dangerous and can cause inflammation in our body tissues. This contributes to problems in the heart and other body systems. Therefore, choosing between vegetable oil and butter is basically the same as trying to pick the lesser of two evils. Next up on our list is milk. In previous decades, milk was promoted as a superfood that should be included as a staple in the diet of every health-conscious individual. However, over recent years, the medical community at large has reversed its position on the health advantages of dairy products. The Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine points out that dairy products are one of the most prolific sources of saturated fat in the American diet, and saturated fat is associated with heart disease, diabetes, and other chronic conditions. Experts have also linked dairy products to an increased risk of certain types of cancer as well. We just briefly mentioned it, but saturated fats are also known for causing inflammation and contributing to an increased risk of several chronic diseases. It has been well documented that saturated fats are known to increase the risk of cardiovascular disease. With that said, they have also been shown to short-circuit immune cells, which can trigger an inappropriate inflammatory response. This is why we should all strive to consume less saturated fats in our diet. On a similar note, foods that are high in trans fats are also known for causing inflammation. Trans fat is a type of unsaturated fat that is found in beef, dairy products, and many of the most common processed foods that we eat. Of all the different types of fat, trans fat is known to be the most harmful for your health. I mean, it should be telling that the FDA requires nutrition labels to list trans fats so that consumers are aware before they make a food or beverage purchase. Studies found that the consumption of trans fats results in increased inflammatory markers. This is especially true in people who fall into the obese category due to excess body fat. Next up on our list is monosodium glutamate, also known as MSG. MSG is a controversial food additive and flavor enhancer. Studies have shown that the consumption of MSG is linked to higher obesity, insulin resistance, and increased inflammation in the body. Not to mention, MSG has been shown to have other negative health effects such as oxidative stress, neurotoxicity, and allergic reactions. Consuming refined carbohydrates is another cause of inflammation that we need to discuss. Refined carbohydrates are basically sugar in disguise. They've been stripped of fiber and most other nutrients, making them high-calorie foods with low nutritional density. Because of this, refined carbs can cause your blood sugar to spike, leading to an insulin resistance. Studies found that people who eat a lot of refined carbohydrates tend to have increased levels of inflammatory markers. With that said, I'm not suggesting that you completely remove carbohydrates from your diet altogether. However, we can all try to swap out the refined carbs for whole grains instead, which takes longer to digest and feeds the good bacteria in your gut. Next up on our list is alcoholic beverages. It's no secret that the booze industry is booming in the United States. Each and every year, alcohol sales rake in more than $70 billion in tax revenue. Despite this astonishing amount, it is often forgotten that the consumption of alcohol is associated with all kinds of health problems, including chronic inflammation. Research has shown that heavy alcohol use over time can lead to cardiomyopathy, irregular heartbeats, stroke, high blood pressure, fatty liver, alcoholic hepatitis, cirrhosis, and several types of cancer. Additionally, alcohol consumption interferes with communication pathways in the brain. In order to avoid the negative effects of alcohol consumption, adults should strive to limit their intake to just 1 to 2 drinks per day. Another food that we need to discuss is processed meat. Processed meats such as cured bacon, sausages, hot dogs, lunch meat, and jerky have all been altered to improve their flavor and lengthen their shelf life. Even though they may taste great, processed meats are loaded with salt and saturated fat, which are known to increase inflammation in the body. In fact, several studies have found a link between processed meats and many chronic diseases. It is believed that inflammation is the biggest reason why. Artificial sweeteners are also known contributors to increased inflammation, and this often comes as a surprise to most people. You may have already swapped processed sugar for artificial sweeteners as a way to be healthier and consume fewer calories. This makes sense, right? Consuming less calories should equate to weight loss. Unfortunately, studies found that the opposite seems to be true. Artificial sweeteners actually negatively affect our taste buds, which stimulates an increased appetite and causes overeating to occur. This contributes to weight gain and increased inflammation, which, in turn, increases the risk of hypertension, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. The most common culprits that should be avoided include sucralose, saccharin, and aspartame. Instead, you can opt for natural sweeteners such as honey, maple syrup, or agave nectar. Just be sure to do so in moderation. So just to give a quick recap, here are 10 of the most common foods known for causing inflammation in the body that we can all strive to eat less of on a daily basis. We have sugar, vegetable oil, milk, saturated and trans fats, MSG, refined carbohydrates, alcoholic beverages, processed meat, and artificial sweeteners.
Now, here's what I want you to do after listening to that lengthy explanation, telling us some of the foods that we need to eliminate that's causing the inflammation. See, I want you to leave here today knowing that you have solutions in the palm of your hand to actually be able to stop the pain. Don't accept the fact that pain has to live in my house because there are foods that are causing the inflammation. Now, here's another person that's going to share a list of foods. Now, when you see something that you know has been a part of your daily regimen, part of your daily diets, here's what I want you to do, because confession is good for the soul, right? So I want you to drop it in the chat, ouch. Just say ouch. You don't have to tell on yourself. You don't have to say which one of those foods it was. But if you saw anything in that first list, I want you to drop it in the chat and say ouch. Check this out.
Chronic inflammation and not knowing what's causing it. You may be surprised to learn that the foods you're consuming on a daily basis could be the culprit. Join us as we uncover the top 11 surprising foods that cause inflammation and how you can make simple swaps to reduce your risk of developing chronic inflammation and associated diseases. You eat peanuts, Diet Coke, and frozen yogurt. You might be surprised to find out the truth. First up, we have peanuts. Peanuts are a popular snack that many people enjoy, but did you know that they can also cause severe inflammation, especially if your body is not used to them? Peanuts contain properties that act as allergens, and even if you're not allergic to them, consuming too many peanuts can still lead to inflammation. This is because peanuts can also become a breeding ground for fungus and mold, which can have inflammatory reactions if consumed. If you're someone who experiences inflammation after consuming peanuts, a good alternative to consider is almonds. Almonds are also high in nutrients and are a great source of healthy fats, making them a healthier option. Next on the list is Diet Coke. Diet Coke is a popular drink choice for those trying to go sugar-free, but it's not as healthy as you might think. Diet Coke contains aspartame, an artificial sweetener that can cause inflammation in some people. Aspartame is a foreign substance to the body. If your body is sensitive to it, your immune system will react to it by triggering the inflammation process. If you're someone who experiences inflammation after consuming Diet Coke, it's best to look for alternative drinks that don't contain aspartame. Instead, you can try drinking water, tea, or even seltzer water with a squeeze of lemon for a refreshing drink. Pizza is another surprising food that could cause inflammation. Pizza is a beloved food by many, but it's not the best choice for those looking to reduce inflammation. Pizza is the biggest source of saturated fats in the American diet, and a single slice of cheese pizza can be over 200 calories. The amount of saturated fat makes up 22% of your daily intake, and it's extremely easy to eat more than one slice of pizza, which means you could potentially ingest over 1,000 calories in one sitting. This type of diet can lead to inflammation of your fatty tissues, which is a sign of heart disease and arthritis. If you're someone who loves pizza, it's best to limit your intake and choose healthier toppings like vegetables to reduce the saturated fat intake. White bread is also a culprit when it comes to inflammation. White bread is made from refined wheat flour, which lacks the nutrients that exist in other types of bread. When consumed, white bread immediately turns into sugar, and as your body breaks down the carbs you consume, your blood sugar level rises, which causes an increase in insulin, leading to inflammation. If you're someone who loves white bread, it's best to switch to brown bread instead. Whole grain breads such as rye bread or whole wheat bread are a much healthier option as they contain more fiber, vitamins, and minerals than white bread. Cookies and bacon are also on the list of inflammatory foods.
Oh my God.
High amounts of sugar, trans fats, and sodium, which can lead to inflammation in the body. Cookies are a beloved treat by many. But just a single soft chocolate chip cookie contains 69 calories along with 49 milligrams of sodium. This quickly adds up as 10 chocolate chip cookies is well over 690 calories along with 20% of your daily sodium intake, causing inflammation. If you're someone who loves cookies, it's best to limit your intake and opt for healthier snacks like fruits or nuts. Bacon is another unhealthy food that can cause inflammation. A single slice of bacon contains 116 milligrams of sodium. If you eat 5 pieces for breakfast, this accounts for 25% of your daily sodium intake. The average slice of bacon is said to be made of 71% fat. This high concentration of fat is a trigger for inflammation. Regular consumption of processed meats, such as bacon, can also increase your risk of certain cancers by 18%. Instead of eating bacon, health professionals recommend switching to turkey bacon. This way, you consume half of the saturated fats and will be at less risk of developing inflammation. Frozen yogurt is another seemingly healthy food that can cause inflammation. Its high concentration of sugar and dairy can trigger inflammation in some people, especially those with sensitivity to casein, the dairy protein. Frozen yogurt often contains casein, which releases amino acids into the system. This can often trigger inflammation. Frozen yogurt is also high in calories, so it's important to keep an eye on portion sizing. If you're someone who loves frozen yogurt, it's best to opt for low-fat or non-dairy alternatives like sorbet or frozen fruit bars. Fried foods are another common cause of inflammation. Fried foods are high in fat and calories, and the process of frying can also produce harmful compounds that can contribute to inflammation. Fried foods are often high in trans fats and can lead to an increase in LDL cholesterol, which can cause inflammation in the body. Instead of fried foods, you can opt for grilled, baked, or steamed foods. Grilled chicken or fish with a side of vegetable is a much healthier alternative. Processed meats, such as the lime meat, sausages, and hot dogs, are also known to cause inflammation. Processed meats are high in sodium and preservatives, which can increase inflammation in the body. Processed meats are also high in saturated fats, which can lead to an increase in LDL cholesterol and inflammation. Fresh meats are a healthier alternative, such as chicken or fish. Fresh meats are leaner and contain less saturated fats, which can reduce inflammation in the body. Sugar is another inflammatory food. Consuming too much sugar can lead to chronic inflammation, as well as obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. Sugar is often added to many processed foods, and it's important to read labels and be aware of the amount of sugar you're consuming. Instead of sugar, you can opt for natural sweeteners like honey, maple syrup, or stevia. These sweeteners are a healthier alternative, as they contain antioxidants and other beneficial compounds that can reduce inflammation in the body. Alcohol is also a major cause of inflammation. Alcohol consumption can lead to inflammation in various parts of the body, including the liver, pancreas, and gut. Alcohol is also high in calories, and regular consumption can lead to weight gain, which can increase inflammation in the body. It's important to limit your alcohol consumption and drink in moderation. If you're someone who enjoys a glass of wine or a beer, it's best to stick to 1 or 2 drinks and opt for light beers or wines with lower alcohol content. So there you have it, 11 surprising foods that can cause inflammation. Be sure to keep an eye out for these foods and consider switching to healthier alternatives to protect your body from inflammation. Some other things that you can do to reduce inflammation include regular exercise, getting enough sleep, managing stress, and avoid smoking. Remember, your diet plays a crucial role in reducing inflammation in the body. And by making small changes to your diet, you can reduce your risk of developing chronic inflammation and the associated diseases. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.
Now, we saw some ouches, right? Ouch. I mean, you get to the point where you're saying, ouch, 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 ouch. Oh, please, can you stop? Can you stop? But I want to stop the pain. I want to stop the pain in your body. See, certain foods can help fight off this excess inflammation. But a lot of times when we think about changing our lifestyle, changing our diet, changing the kind of foods, the first thing that goes off in our brain is that's expensive. It costs too much. And some parts of it are. Some things are expensive and you pay a little bit more. And I was in a conversation with somebody just this morning. I said, but sickness is more expensive. Pain is even more expensive. But I'm going to share some information with you today, affordable things that you can do to help get rid of the pain, because the food you're eating may be causing you pain. Now, when you get to the point where you're like I am and you just don't care, you just really want to change things, you want to move in the right direction, then you start to be more intentional about what you do. right? You may not be a vegan or a vegetarian. You may not be totally plant-based. You may not be put into a category, but you're going to go to the store and be intentional. You're not going straight to the meat section. And if you go to the meat section, you're looking for grass-fed. And grass-fed costs a little bit more. You're looking for mushrooms like shiitake mushrooms or oyster mushrooms or lion's mane mushrooms. And let me tell you, don't knock it until you try it, because they absolutely taste amazing. You're looking for things, you're not looking for vegetable oil, you're looking for extra virgin oil, or you're looking for avocado oil. Yes, will it cost a little bit more? Absolutely. You're not looking for things that are just naturally grown a certain kind of way, but they're specifically grown a certain kind of way, like wild Alaskan salmon. And listen, about the nuts, the walnuts, the almonds, not the peanuts. Yeah, take me out to the ball game. No, sorry, none of that. And it's easy to spend lots of money on the finest foods when you are concerned about your health. It's not as easy to eat healthy if you're on a budget. I grant that, if you're on a fixed income. But let me tell you something, that doesn't deny the fact that you can't eat healthy. We shared last week about how they're targeting our Black and brown communities because they know we would rather go and buy $3, $4, or we'd rather go and supersize it because it's easy, it's quick, we're going through the drive-through, we don't have to cook at home. But I'm going to challenge that thought process in your head. We're going to look at 21 affordable foods that help to beat pain. So you may not even know that if you would consume more of these foods, you're going to have less pain. You may not have even known that you might be eating food that's causing your pain. You think you've got this or you've got that, and the food that you're eating. And I want you to go through, if there's something that we go through this 21 affordable foods that you're going to increase, I want you to put it in the chat. More of that. That's what I want you to say, more of that. So number 21. Celery. We need more celery on our plates, in our meals, in our cooking. Why? Because celery fights inflammation. It fights inflammation. It's full of antioxidants. And as I shared earlier, we've got too much inflammation. And when something is inflamed, as Dr. Bobby Price says, that is the alarm system. That is the check engine light to say to you, you got to do something. Celery fights inflammation. It's full of antioxidants like vitamin C, beta carotene, and magnesium. It protects against inflammation in the digestive tract, and it's full of phenolic acids, non-starch polysaccharides. So we need more of that. Thank you for putting that in the chat. Thank you for saying it. I need more of that. Absolutely. Number 20, oranges. Now, you may say you don't like oranges, or maybe if you're like me, I'm a blood type O, and oranges don't go, they're not according to my blood type. So according to blood type O's, we should not do oranges because oranges are an enemy. So there may be some of these as you go through, you've got to relate all of this, basically relate all of this to your specific blood type. And if you don't know about what blood type eating is and what a blood type diet is, you can get more information about that. Matter of fact, we've got a special session that's taking place on Sunday, September the 1st, that's going to address blood type. Now, oranges, why? Why oranges? Because citrus flavonol is a phytonutrient. Abundant polyphenols in oranges have been shown to have a wide range of antioxidants. See, I'm already sharing two things that they're not nasty. See, we think about, oh man, eating healthy just doesn't taste good. But if you like oranges, you like oranges. Celery goes well in seasoning a lot of different foods. Number 19, kiwi. I love some good kiwi. Kiwi fights inflammation. It's very high in vitamin C. It's full of enzymes that help you properly digest food, full of polyphenols. If you haven't been having kiwi as a part of your fruits that you like, that you eat, then you need to add more of that. Because you're dealing with some pain and you're doing some things that is coming against you. Now let's do some things that will help you. Grapefruit, pink grapefruit. Wow. I love a good pink grapefruit. Now, it took me a while to really do the grapefruit thing because I used to do grapefruit and put sugar on top of it. That defeats the purpose, right? But pink grapefruit fights inflammation. It's very high in vitamin C, and grapefruit juice ranks highest in antioxidant activity among juices. Now, when I say grapefruit juice, please understand what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the one you go in the store, grab it out the section, the cold section, not that one, not with the sugar already in it. I'm talking about get the grapefruit, put it in a juicer, and make your own juice. Yeah, I'm like you. I need more of that. Number 17, spinach. A wonderful way to add to your salad, even sauteed spinach or steamed spinach, because spinach fights inflammation. Anybody like spinach in the house? Full of glycosycloropids, particularly in the digestive tract. Reduced inflammation has been associated not only with the flavonoids found in spinach, but also with its carotenoids. Yes, spinach. I need more of that. Number 16, green peppers. Green bell peppers, they fight inflammation. Let me tell you something. Some of the best things that you can saute are bell peppers. Good source of vitamin E. We're not breaking the bank, guys. A good source of vitamin E contains more than 30 different carotenoids, including excellent amounts of beta carotene and zeaxanthin, lots of phytonutrients. Now, don't forget, if you need to add more of this, come on, put it in the chat, more of that. Don't stop, don't say, oh my God, I keep putting more of that. Well, I want you to add more of that into your diet. Number 15, carrots. Carrots, why carrots? We do a lot of carrots when we're doing our detox. It's a part of our juicing. And carrots contain vitamin A, vitamin K, fiber, vitamin C, potassium, magnesium. Look at this, vitamins B6, B3, B1. Wow. They used to say carrots help your eyes, right? But we need more carrots in our diet because it will help you with that pain that you're suffering with. Maybe just have some carrots in a bag and just chew on them instead of getting something else, right? Lutein, found in carrots and olive oil, helps reduce age-related inflammation. Yes, 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 we need more of that. Brussels sprouts. Now, don't knock it till you try it. I don't like Brussels sprouts in the natural, but I love Brussels sprouts when I roast them. Oh my God, I've been to some restaurants that had roasted Brussels sprouts, and then I started coming home to do them myself and found out how delicious they were. But glucosinolates found in Brussels sprouts help regulate the body's anti-inflammatory system and prevent unwanted inflammation. Stuffed with vitamin K, high in omega-3s. Let me tell you something, that's a whole nother topic that we're going to deal with because we don't have enough omega-3s in our life. That's one of the new movements that's taking place in our company to help people understand how much they need to improve because we're deficient in omega-3 and it's causing so much disease. Number 13, broccoli. Yes, yes, broccoli. Come on, come on. Do you need more broccoli in your life? Broccoli fights inflammation, guys. Steam the broccoli, roast the broccoli, however you put the broccoli raw on your salad, yes, because all cruciferous vegetables contain powerful inflammation fighters. Are you getting this? Do you understand that you can do this? You can change these things. You can add these things to your diet and watch the pain begin to subside. Watch the pain begin to get soothing. Studies suggest that phytonutrients in broccoli fight inflammation of the joints, of the respiratory system, of the colon, and so much more. Oh, we need some broccoli. Number 12, collard greens. Now, make a note. I'm not talking about with fat back. There are so many other ways, and I know some people that are on this call. I'll have to let her talk about how she fixes her collard greens, and they taste just as if you were putting fat meat in them. Why collard greens? Excellent source of vitamin K, omega-3 fatty acids. Listen, all of this is affordable and it'll help you beat your pain. That's what's important. Number 11, cauliflower. Yep, cauliflower. You can buy this in the frozen section where you got all of that wrapped up in there together. It's affordable, guys. Cauliflower fights inflammation. It's another cruciferous vegetable that's powerful, good source of vitamin C, an excellent source of vitamin K, and one of the hallmark anti-inflammatory nutrients. And again, a good source of omega-3s. Number 10, red bell peppers. Yes, love those colors. I love the green, the red, the yellow, and the orange. But the red, there's something powerful about the red peppers. Excellent source of vitamin C. If you're deficient, if you did our bioscan and you're low in C and A and E, listen, red bell peppers, vitamin E, contains more than 30 different carotenoids, including excellent amounts of beta carotene. There's lots of phytonutrients. Phytonutrients are so powerful in our diet. Number 9, cabbage. Anybody love a good pot of cabbage? Yeah, I've got to get more cabbage in my diet. I don't have enough cabbage, so I got to be, if I was on the chat right now, I'd be typing more of that because the anthocyanins found in red cabbage are well-documented anti-inflammatory compounds. So let's get some cabbage. Number 8, avocados. Unfortunately, I'm a blood type O. We're not supposed to have avocados. And as I keep saying that, if you don't know what foods are against your blood type, that's another teaching that you have got to get involved with here because we can share that information with you. But avocados do help to fight inflammation. Researchers believe avocados' carotenoid diversity is a key factor in its anti-inflammatory properties. Avocado fats, good healthy fat, are particularly well documented with problems involving arthritis. Has inflammation fighting fats widely present in ocean plants, but fairly unique among land plants. I see you. You need more of that. You need more of that cabbage. Yes. Pineapple, number 7. Why pineapple? Listen, I love some good pineapple. Matter of fact, I got a pineapple in the refrigerator right now waiting to be juiced. Excessive inflammation, excessive coagulation of the blood, and certain types of tumor growth may all be reduced by therapeutic doses of bromelain, which is found in pineapples. Am I talking about some foods that we can enjoy? Yeah, see, we can enjoy getting healthy. You can also get bromelain in our natural pain relief formula. Number 6, turnip greens. See, we're talking about some stuff that we have eaten as kids coming up when we talk about eating soul food. The difference is how you cook it. The difference is that it can taste good. I'm going to say it again without the fat back. Excellent source of vitamin K, a good source of omega-3 fatty acids in the form of alpha-linolenic acid or ALA. Glucosinolates, all of this is in turnip greens. Mustard greens, yes. See, these are things that we're accustomed to eating, even as African Americans, but it's what we do and how we cook it and how we eat it. Not knowing, we mess it up. These are God-given plants, and we mess them up by putting the wrong stuff in them. And yes, you can fix it in such a way that it does taste good. Matter of fact, you keep doing it until it does taste good. Because mustard greens fight inflammation. They've got glucosinolates, excellent source of vitamin K, and glucobrassicin. So let's add more of that. Cantaloupe. Who loves cantaloupe? Cantaloupe fights inflammation. Studies show that cantaloupes lower C-reactive proteins, a common indicator of inflammation. Cantaloupe contains a wide variety of antioxidants and anti-inflammatory phytonutrients, high in vitamin C. Number 3, kale. Yeah, you know it. Kale fights inflammation. I didn't even have to tell you this one, right? Because 45 different flavonoids in kale play a leading dietary role in avoiding chronic inflammation and oxidative stress. And it's high in omega-3s, vitamin K, and high in fiber. Yes, I agree. We need more of that. Number 2, sweet potatoes. Not with all the sugar and the syrup and the brown sugar and all that kind of stuff. Let me tell you something, guys. I promise you, if you incorporate these things, your palate will change. And things that you have to make them taste good, you'll find out you don't have to have them if you push forward. I'd rather you do this than to have the pain. That's all I'm saying. Anthocyanin and other color-related pigments in the sweet potato are equally valuable for their anti-inflammatory health benefits. In even some preliminary animal studies, the intake of sweet potato color extracts have been shown to reduce inflammation. We need more of that. And number 1, onions. Yeah, they make you cry, right? But oh my God, you can add onions to anything that you're putting in the skillet. You can sizzle it, you can saute or add onions to it. Wow. Change the flavor of almost anything. Onion A unique sulfur molecule in onion that is found in the bulb portion of the plant, has been shown to inhibit the activity of macrophages. These specialized white blood cells play a key role in our body's immune system and can trigger large-scale inflammatory responses. Onions antioxidants help prevent the oxidation of fatty acids, reducing the number of pro-inflammatory messaging molecules produced by the body. 21 affordable foods that help to beat pain, help to soothe that pain. Pain, you gotta go. Never come back again.
In good health, is your poor diet causing you pain? Nutrition experts say what we eat affects our bodies in many ways, and some foods help and some foods can hurt.
In terms of pain, nutrition can have a really strong role in how a patient can manage that in the long term.
When it comes to diet and pain, Mayo Clinic Dr. Tina Arden says inflammation is typically to blame.
Research indicates that there is a link between diet and inflammation. Although this is a normal process in response to an injury or infection, sometimes inflammation can turn into a chronic process and actually be widespread throughout the body.
Long-term inflammation is linked to several health problems, including rheumatoid arthritis and heart disease. But how do you know if your diet is a factor?
Some clues that can make us think about a nutrition deficiency may be things like joint pain, fatigue, disrupted sleep, even some skin findings indicate a nutritional deficiency.
A poor diet increases inflammation.
In terms of foods that can be pro-inflammation, those are foods that include processed foods, carbohydrates, high sugars, unhealthy.
Other foods that boost inflammation include deep fried foods, pastries, processed cereals, white rice, white potatoes, breads, and red meat. Foods that help reduce inflammation include fish, such as salmon, tuna, trout, and mackerel. Also, fruits and vegetables, lentils and beans, nuts and seeds, whole grains, green tea, and certain spices such as ginger and turmeric. And our diet also impacts our energy level and our mood, 2 more factors that have an effect on how we deal with pain and our ability to eat.
So can we do it? Yes, we can, guys. Can we make some changes? Can we make some food changes to decrease your pain? Are you hurting enough? Are you tired of hurting? Okay, I'm gonna see. How tired are you? After you've listened to this today, I hope that you can go back, pick up the recording again, write it down. When you go to the grocery, make the list of the things you need to get, not the things that you don't need to get. Because even the processed foods and all that stuff that's so easy for us to get, it's easy to go through the drive-through. If you're in pain, I'm telling you, you don't have to accept it as the norm. And you've heard me talking about the blood type. Now, if you're watching this and it's still, you've got time by tomorrow, Sunday, September the 1st, I want to personally invite you to learn about your blood type. It's important to know your blood type because your blood type is the most crucial factor in determining how your body is even responding to certain foods. Because even though I listed, we heard one talking about 11 foods, another talked about 10 foods. We just saw a list of 21 foods. There may be some of those foods that are toxic to your particular blood type. Are you an A? Are you a B? Are you an O? Or are you an AB? Do you even know? If you don't even know your blood type, then you're eating in the blind. And you're definitely maybe eating something that even though it's a good thing for you, that's why sometimes people can say, well, I'm eating right, but I'm still hurting, or I'm still sick, or I still have this issue. I still have been diagnosed with whatever they've diagnosed you with. But there's scientific evidence, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow. Our CEO is going to talk about it tomorrow, September the 1st, depending on when you're watching this video. So I'm saying the date. And if you see this after then, just get back in touch with the person that guided you here, the Facebook page that guided you here, and we'll get that information to you because every single person, we're on a campaign to let 1 million families find out what their blood type is and how they can reverse disease, sickness, and pain just by knowing this.